Typical scenario where we will be utilizing a print is to analyze the value of the signals in the specific component. When we build our class-based test bench environment, we have a multiple component handling a different task. For example, generator will generate the stimuli that will go to a DUT with the help of a driver class. Monitor is someone who will receive the response from a DUT. So in such case, while building a verification environment, we often are in a situation where we need to analyze the value of the signals in each component. So there we typically use a logging or printing the values on a console. So here we'll try to replicate the same scenario. Let us assume we are performing verification of an adder. So adder consists of two input A and B, and then it have an output port Y, and we have collected the values in the specific variable. Our agenda will be to use a print statement and log this data on a console. So let us proceed and try to declare few variables over here. A represent our input port whose value is 3. This is the response that we have received in the variable. Then we have a value of 4, and we already know, so 3 plus 4 will give us 7. So this is the result. Now our agenda will be to send this data on a console in a manner that could easily tell us which specific component have this data. So in such case, we usually start with a tag. So tag represent the name of a class whose data we are printing. Since this is received in a monitor, we have added a monitor, then a colon, and then we are printing the data. So we have A, which is our input port. To print the value, we need to use a comma and then the name of a variable, which is A. Then again, we will be adding a string, colon, and then the variable which is holding the value, which is B. Lastly, we have our output port Y, again colon, and Y represent our output port. So this is how we could represent our data in an manner which could be used to distinguish between the different reports that we see on the console. Now, if we try to execute the code, you could actually see monitor, the component whose data we are displaying. In the monitor, A is having the value of 3, B is having the value of 4, and Y is having the value of 7. So print allow us to print the value of the signals, but print do have some difficulty. The first difficulty is you cannot log this data into a file. So sometime when we have a multiple errors present in code, we usually log all the errors in a file and then try to solve them one by one. The second thing is we do not have any facility to filter out specific message. So at the start of a simulation, we analyze the values of the variable, but once we know that verification environment is working as expected, we are interested more in analyzing the critical messages, such as the scenarios where our resources access is failing. We no longer interested in analyzing the values of all the signals. So such kind of filtering is not possible. So here we wish to filter out all the messages which are displaying the values of a signal, and we are only interested in analyzing the critical errors. So such facility is not available with print method. So these are the two disadvantages that we have with the print. The other one which we frequently require, for example, each new stimuli is applied at a specific time. So we also wish to analyze the specific time at which each stimuli is applied to a duty. So such facility is also not possible with the print. Hence, we have an alternative method for logging the data on a console, and that is by utilizing the package logging. So package you could consider as a library which consists of series of functions to simplify logging. So whenever we import something, consider that to be a library consisting of series of function allow us to simplify certain tasks. So here when we considered importing a logging package, that basically signify we have a series of methods that simplify our logging requirement. So next we proceed to understand how we use logging, and at the end we'll be comparing both print and log.